All
What's up?
right, what's going on, everyone? Macro Pod here, Coach Seamus, Marcos in the house. We've got a cool guest today. Actually, this guest and I really connected well when I was in Park City about a week or so ago, and just a great conversation. So I just want to kind of continue it. We both believe in great causes. He has a nonprofit. Marcos obviously has been pushing and striving our nonprofit and everything. But Christopher, would you mind introducing yourself to the pod, the audience, and dude, we'll just jump right into it today.
Yeah, so I work on the committee with the nonprofit organization that develops youth. It is called the Penny Project SLC. My role there is president of youthmanship and development. That was an opportunity that I was elevated to this year. I have been on the committee for 4 years now, so we do a lot of stuff in the lowrider community. Of course, the hip hop community, much less in the youth development department. We do a lot of things from going like, for instance, we have something coming up over at the Maverick Center for the second time. We're shooting for December 9th, where we'll have them participate in some things with us. Like we had some of our kids perform over at the Utah Grizzlies game for halftime. We had them open up, do the middle part, and of course close, which was really cool. And it gave us a great opportunity to show our energy and get invited back. So um, that's one of the things that we've done. The other thing that we're doing right now is this is our fourth year as well. Um, we have a location here at the West Valley Fair Mall, right next to J.C. Penney's inside the store, where they give us a huge space in there to wrap gifts for donations. With that money, we use those monies to provide the amenities for some of our kids of whatever hobbies they're into. One of our children is in boxing. It's pretty good. And so he has gear equipment and tour dates that he would like to participate in. So we donate some of those monies to things like that. And the rest of the money goes back to the trips that our kids pick every single year. Last year it was San Diego. I think it was for like about a week, I think it was. We go out there and we do things away from the camera, like make a bunch of food, go out, feed the homelessness, provide contributions to our community that the kids have to learn about the organic acknowledgement, the stuff that's away from the immediate gratification that social media gives you. So, you know what I'm saying? And so on and so on. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
yeah.
That's so cool.
What got you guys started in this realm? Did you so you mentioned being there for 4 years. Was it like you started 4 years ago? How long has the organization been in existence?
Oh, God. I don't want to say the wrong date, but it's been there a little bit longer than I have. Connie took me in. I was how do I say gotta give some community work back, some nonprofit, work back to the community. And then what happened was over time, just through development, um, we start getting assigned kids to us that are really damaged, that have some things that are really wrong with them. And then at that point, it's like, all right, bro, it's a little bit more than just um, giving back to the community. It's actually developing time for these kids so they can have an awareness of like things like emotional tension and understanding whether it's something that they just haven't grown through or if it's a naive immaturity, like gaining some form of social validation. Because maybe they might not be getting it at home or through other levels of emotions. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Uh,
Hmm.
and so, um, after trying to participate in many nonprofit organizations, I found a nonprofit organization that genuinely didn't have any hidden agendas other than nurturing the souls of young kids that were a little bit less fortunate. And even some of the kids on our team that are fortunate, doesn't mean that we have to have damaged kids every time in order to help create the growth. And sometimes having some really good apples on the team is better than having a whole bag of bad apples. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Just create
Oh
the
yeah.
that makes
growth.
sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
now, yeah. I don't know.
So
I'm not sure if that answered your question. Sorry.
No, yeah. So you got started with it 4 years ago. It's been around a little bit longer than that, and you were
Yeah.
kind of so you've always been kind of drawn to like nonprofit work for yourself or like in mission
Yeah,
in
it was
that.
that. Yeah, it gets to the point where like my own turbulence that I grew up in, it was like, all right, cool. Well, you're done creating turbulence now. So, what is the get back? What is the fruit? What are you seeding now? What are you gonna do to create better growth? At a buddy of mine, where in conversation, I was like, bro, I'm giving back so much, and I still don't feel the balance yet. I still don't feel the balance yet. And then my buddy said to me, well, look at all the years that you created chaos. You're almost
Mm,
halfway, Chris. You're almost halfway. Keep going. It's almost like in me and understanding that I've created a huge enough impact on my community. And I remember going to bed in prayer saying, and feeling myself, but humbly, oh God, thank you for allowing me to be in this journey. Thank you for allowing me to grow and be a staple in my community by all means. And then I went to sleep. And in my dream, God smacked me in the head and he says, Chris, you're just a needle and thread, buddy. Get your tail back to work.
That's a great reminder, man. That's a great reminder because honestly, it's like you can get your you can kind of get your head of yourself. You can get your ego going, and it's a good reminder. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's easy to I know for myself, it's easy to create a lot of chaos and then say like, well, I've been doing the work. It's like, you still got to keep doing the work. You still got to keep giving back. You still got to keep pushing. And
Yeah.
I mean, I know Marcos definitely feels that, and I know I feel it. And it's a good testament to like, it's a good reminder that whoever could be listening to this, whatever you feel like you're doing, just keep going. Just keep going because there's probably more.
Yeah. And it really really feeds the soul, and it puts you in a vibration to actually do more. They say like do things that attract that goodness to you, but what I found out is like that's actually the I wouldn't say the wrong perspective, but a different perspective, because we radiate that energy that God gave us to naturally push that beautiful stuff out. Um, it's because we hold on to things that light doesn't get revealed. So it's not actually gravitating anything in. It's the layers of stuff that are holding you down that's keeping all that goodness from coming out and being
Yeah,
acknowledged.
mm.
yeah,
That's deep, man.
Does that
I
make
mean,
sense?
oh, oh, well, very. Yeah, you're speaking on philosophical levels, and I think a lot of people. It, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of us. We had a previous guest that talked about like the 9 to 5 allowing you to feed your 5 to 9. You know what I mean? And that was just another thing that he's mentioning about like pursuing passion. And so if you can eventually make it so your 9 to 5 is always the thing that you're so passionate about and feel like it can be the most rewarding thing, then you're never going to work a day in your life. So um it's nice to hear that there's people like you finding these things, and like again finding that your your previous journey is going to help the people that are kind of in that tumultuous situation right now, right? You're able to kind of bring them up and
Right.
be that beacon of like hope and light if they're whatever situation's going on, like in the home life. You know what I mean? Like mentorship for those people or kids is super impactful. We're rising tides, right? Rising tides will raise all ships, and we need that, especially right now
Yes.
when the world is as crazy as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot where like people tend to lose sight of value. I showed my man a record while we were cruising in the car, and it was a collaboration record that I did with my son. And it took a long time for us to finally get to this point where we're like, all right, like the conversation's firm. He's ready to pull the trigger. Let's get this video done. Let's get things moving. And I've said this a lot, but in clarification, it was okay, cool. So yes, you can get immediate acknowledgement for something, um, It's that instantaneous type thing, but it's just like having anything else that you can immediately have, like acknowledgement on social media or whatever that instant gratification is. But when you do things, even though materialism is important, even though finances are important, when you move in abundance along your journey, you will touch a lot of people. And if you damage those people along the way, then you lose your abundance along the journey. But if you touch people and genuinely grow them, in the end of that journey, or whatever that acknowledgement is, you get something called organic acknowledgement. And that stuff lasts forever. And with that comes along is more materialism and more abundance, only because you weren't focused on it. You were focused on helping others and growing souls, growing souls,
Yeah, it's fun.
and
It's
from
funny you
that,
say that. Yeah, Marcos and I very much are like it can get frustrating sometimes because there is materialism, there is finances. Our whole message with this podcast is like long term, and we coach a lot of people, and sometimes with coaching people with nutrition, health, wellness, fitness, you don't get an instantaneous result. So you have to find ways to win in the day to day. Whether it's like, well, you didn't win on the scale, let's just say, or you didn't win in the mirror, but did you win in the habits? Did you win in the mindset? Did you win in the decisions? And it does take a long time, but it does come back tenfold sometimes. People really give you that thanks.
it's,
People give you the right thank yous and the right energy. And I totally hear you on that. If you get an instant like result, sometimes it's like, was that really like a result worth your value, or was that like a result that was just kind of like, oh, that was whatever, it wasn't a struggle, it wasn't something that was worth it, right?
yeah. And even though it's like something we don't like to admit, those longer term goals are the things that are more everlasting with your peace. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're not
Yeah.
pursuing peace. We're pursuing things that allow us to have peace. And because of that, we rename it. We call it happiness.
I like that. I like that.
Th- that
Wise, Christopher, really wise. Really
Thank you.
wise.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
Chris, how, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I should be speaking like that. I'm going to be 46.
Okay. I'm curious. I'm
46.
like,
I'm
is
going
this
to be 46.
those wise moments and oh, I mean, years. I mean, was your viewpoint like this? Like, say when you were 30, like what helped you shape like you just said that kind
Um,
of
so
this view.
that's yeah, that actually started the journey. It was like Dr. Miles Monroe, um, Eric Thomas, Les Brown, and Jordan Peterson, who honestly like my human god momentarily right now. He's definitely giving me the most impact. And to be honest with you, man, Jordan Peterson is the one that taught me most accountability and humility. If it wasn't for him, and I can't wait till I meet him one day, and I tell him thank you for allowing me to embrace my marriage a lot better, and
Yeah.
how to understand my children a lot more. Because if it wasn't for him, my family would be in more shambles. To be honest with you, I stuck to him, and so every day I take any grace that he puts out online or any of my other mentors, because shit, man, that's the only reason I've been able to just maintain stability. That mental stability is just newness you put to your mind
uh,
every day.
Mm-hmm.
I love Peterson's work. I've been fortunate enough to see him twice here in LA, and I didn't get to shake his hand, but I was in the same room with him. And
That's
well,
awesome.
what's amazing about Peterson is the fact that he is willing to dissect things to the deepest levels and really find like the meaning that you're trying to figure out, and like really label and define issues so that you can actually really go, like what you said, create stability in the way you want to create stability. Because I think sometimes people move through life without actually like really defining the terms And I think he does a great job of taking the time to look at something and go, okay, what does this really, really mean? And but the important thing though is he finds, in my opinion, the positive out of it. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you have a job. Good. All right, what can you do with that job? Oh, you have a family? Good. He always finds a way to like put the good into the situation and find a way for you to succeed in a positive light. I don't know anyone else that does it as well as him. He's amazing.
Yeah. I love Jordan Peterson, man. He has these things called the personality test. Like, and it's like and it allows you, and it like has like the 3 layers and allows you to actually dissect yourself and learn you. And to be honest with you, man, I was thinking about what gifts to get my family, and I was like, well, fuck some material. Excuse me, but
You're fine.
forget some materialism. Maybe I should buy these. Maybe I should buy these personality program things individually for my sons and my
You
kids or my
should.
family is trying to
His
stuff.
future writing essays, they're like $20, but I give them out
Future
as gifts
Healthy
sometimes for
program.
young. Yeah, they're like $20, and like I've given them out to a few people that are like young going into college, and they were like, "This is some good stuff."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, good. I'm gonna do that then. This conversation just answered that question. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, no
actually funny
doubt.
it's funny you mentioned that though about like the act of like quote unquote the gift giving, whether it's a materialistic item versus like moments of wisdom or like a moment of like togetherness, like bonding like in a relationship and such. Like um it's funny how you're mentioning kind of like that cyclical nature of like if this thing moves up, then it allows you to get more of those other things that can in fact provide you joy. But it's like you said, the delaying the gratification kind of angle, right? Like how are you living in the most present moment, and what does that look like, and being able to like actually enjoy that versus just like, I don't know, going and buying a new pair of shoes or a new car or a new whatever, right? Like it's
Yeah,
it's super interesting because I used to think that like, yeah, if I get this thing, then I'll be happier, and then only to like get it and then like it fades after like 7 to 14 days, you know, quote unquote. That new car
yeah,
smell is only good for that, for like when you take it off the lot, then you're like, oh god, now this is just gonna take my money and my soul.
yeah. For sure. I feel that, bro. I definitely feel that for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's like and this is the part where I know you're recording, but I don't want this part posted. Okay, I'm telling you guys this. I'm telling you guys this.
We'll clip it out or something. Yeah.
Here, hold on. Okay, let me
Okay,
mark it.
cool. Right on. So, oh no, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's no big deal. It's just like, so for instance, one of my kids, he did not talk at all, and with no matter which mentor they gave him to, he wouldn't say nothing ever. A little shy youngster, and it took me about 2 seasons of spending time with him, and it was obvious, but then he just was like, Chris, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to tell everybody that I'm gay. You know what I'm saying? And it was moments like that I was like, whoa, shit. Like, I knew he was quiet and a little bit strange, but I didn't think he was gonna say that, and I didn't think that by spending time with me, just impacting him with that big brother, you know what I'm saying, older energy of growth, that he was gonna do that, and now he's actually actually making beats and stuff like that at the studio, and doing things, and it's those moments where I'm like, wow, this kid didn't say shit for months, and now he's open and talking and circulating, and it's all of those things, and so I'm like, okay, I see where the impact is, because those moments of impact, they catch you so off guard. You're not ready for
Yeah.
those moments. Nobody is ever, and then I got nervous. And then I was like, oh my God, I gotta listen to more of Dr. Peterson. I gotta listen to more Eric Thomas. I gotta soak up more game, because I gotta give these kids the right message. I gotta make sure that I'm
Yeah.
giving these kids the type of fruit that'll allow them to personally go the way God created them to grow. Don't
Yeah.
matter how I feel about it. It's how they can genuinely grow. So I don't know, just same thing, do the best we can, you know, the best we can, you know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that because like I used to coach kids for about 3-4 years for wrestling, and jiu-jitsu and martial arts, and one
That's
one of
awesome.
the mottos, yeah, one of the mottos for this nonprofit company is called Beat the Streets. It's called uh raising the futures of tomorrow. That's like kind of like their motto. And I remember one kid, I coached him all the way from like 6th to 8th grade. And he was like a shy guy too. But I remember, like, even though he was shy, when it was his time to shine, he would demolish people. I was just like, dear Lord, this guy was small youngster, and he would beat like the kid that was like a champ who'd beat him before, but then like he beat him, and it's like you kind of see his growth, and it's like, and then he started getting out of his shell. Yeah, he was great on the mats, like an athlete, but then he started talking, and then he had humor. I was like, yo, this kid can joke. Like, where were these jokes 2 years ago now? And it's just so cool to kind of see kids grow like that. I know Marcos is seeing that in his kids. I know every week he tells me something new about his daughter or something. He's like, dude, the way she does this or does that, it's like always so cool.
Yeah.
How old are your daughters, if you don't mind me asking?
My daughter's 2.5 and my son's 5. So we're
I got to this.
I got the youngsters. Yeah, I got it's funny because the newest phase for my daughter is the helpfulness. She wants to go out of her way to like
Yeah.
help you do even the most mundane of tasks. And today, just literally trying to empty the dishwasher, she's like, I want to help, and like went and pushed we had some soda waters, and she knew she could leverage herself to like put the silverware back. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, this is gonna take
Yeah.
3 times as long to get it done, but like it's keeping her
Okay.
occupied, and she's having like those like
Yeah.
super tender moments. And I've not solely just like Peterson, but a lot of other people that really talk about like being aware and being present in your kid's life, and especially like a strong father figure for a daughter. It's like one of the most important things to help them understand like like there could be strength, but there could be vulnerability all at the same time. So it's like even though that's not a moment to do that, like I'm just every little interaction now, I'm just like very very much so like mindful about like trying to be present in the moment, not trying to like really take it for granted. So she's in a super cool curious growth phase. And hell, I mean,
Mhm.
it's I told this to Seamus. I don't know if I mentioned on the podcast, but one of the things I realized when we were bringing kids into the world was the environment in which we set them up with, like their school,
Yeah.
the people they get to interact with actually matters a hell of a lot more than even things that I can likely provide, because the home life
Right.
maybe only truly accounts for 4 hours as they get into like school age years, right? So I have to make sure that like the nurturing of like the staff and teachers and other people, the mentors if you will, have to really be in
Yeah.
place. And that moment dawned on me when we were pregnant with my son. And yeah, it's something I like really think about probably far too much, because I'm like, all right, I wonder how they're doing, wonder how this person is, or is my son being receptive to his teacher? Granted, he doesn't get a choice, because we're in public school. um and it's yeah, kids are super interesting. And trying to also help kids, when we're doing it in the nonprofit setting for ourselves, Chris, is also really interesting, because I had one moment where we do nutrition seminars, trying to help people understand how to eat healthy, understand budgeting, all that stuff, like even at a young age, like transitioning to like high school age kids. And we feed them because you got to do that. You got to give food to the kids as you're doing it, because it's a hands-on moment. It has to be.
Yes.
And one of the kids came up, and it was like that tender moment of like, hey, do you mind if I like build a plate for my mom and take it home to her? Just so I can show her like kind of things that maybe we can incorporate. And I was like, not only is this kid like did the message impact him, but he wanted to go home and take it to his mom because he knew the impact was there. So like that one moment made,
That's really good.
yeah, made a lot of it worth it, and was kind of the catalyst in actually like creating an entity. And trying to do more with it. You know, feeding feeding people and having them understand what they're eating to nurture themselves, and you know, from a physical perspective or an internal perspective, you know, we're talking that, but that also contributes to, like you just said, the mental growth that they can have. So, um, people need good food. It's just at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be surprised that even at this place, by all means, we've had a lot of donations and things and stuff before, but this store that we went into, they had like super good clothing in it and name brand. I don't want just all kinds of different name brand stuff. And they also had another room that had all kinds of different foods, all kinds. And I only got like the granola bar stuff. I got oatmeals, things like that. Bro, the kids wouldn't have done that, but I didn't get no cheese balls. I did not get no chips. Any of that stuff that I know I don't eat, I did not get for those kids. They might feel different about it, but I don't really care.
That's a
Yeah.
good
I
call.
know it's wrong, but it goes back to that. You know, even Peterson says, like, look, man, most people think that it's actual genes as to why their kids have these traits about them. But he says, and yes, that has a significance to it. But if you spend 1 hour a day with your child, you know, up until they're at least 7, your child will pick up your actual aura and your habits. And it's from spending at least
Mm,
1 hour a day. He says that most people spend 10, 15 minutes, even though they're around them and doing the most, that attention part of things they really don't give them. He says if you want
yeah.
your child to have your attribute, at least 1 hour of direct one-on-one time with them that nobody can get involved with. And then when I thought about that, I thought about how much time I spend with my other kids outside of this. And I was like, oh my God, I guess you can create a good impact with an hour, especially if you spread it out. I didn't know
Wow.
that. I learned that through Jordan.
Wow.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An hour seems so short until it's like, I mean, an hour of doing like a plank would be fucking miserable, right? Like, I mean, most people we do in our in our clinical setting, they get 30 seconds said there's no way I can last 3 minutes. You know what I mean? And then but like an hour with your kids at the park, depending on if you're just going there and this kind of standing idly by versus actually engaging in the activity with them, is something that
Yeah.
um it's something I chase personally when it comes to like being healthy. Like every time I go to the park, it's like I know I got to actually put on like I'm about to get down and dirty and play some soccer with my son. I'm gonna like actually like be in it, and like literally we got a bunch of the kids together at the park the last time or 2 times ago when we were there, and I mean we played for like 90 minutes, and I was sore as shit the next day. I was like, okay, well, like that was worth it. You know, my son had a great time. He didn't want to go. He's like,
Absolutely.
Dad, I want some of the like people we met to come back. I was like, well, we gotta know them more than 90 minutes. You know, we gotta get to know them before you invite them back
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but it's like again, it's amazing how much like truly, like you said, an hour of truly like dedicated time. You know, whether it's like again getting off the phone, you know, hour with your relationship, hour with any relationship you're trying to foster goes a real long way. You can't just be sending memes from different sides of the couch. You know, we've all seen that meme where with modern day relationships.
Oh, oh my gosh, that's my modern day
Right.
relationship right now. Christopher, what are you up to? I know we're kind of at like a halfway point here, or 30-minute point. I want to be respectful of the time. I know you got caught in a bit of nonprofit stuff, and I really appreciate you being here for this conversation. We could definitely do more later on. I want to support. But what are you doing right now at the nonprofit? You guys said you're doing something with the Maverick Center out there in Salt Lake City. What are some things on the calendar for you, and how could people in our online audience support you? Where can they find you? What can they do to help?
Yeah, so my suggestion would be like the biggest things that we're doing right now is we have a sponsorship that allowed us to get December 9th over at the Maverick Center. It's called like some teddy bear something. I don't have the exact name of it, but what they do is every business in town, every nonprofit business in town comes to the Maverick Center on this day. They all buy teddy bears. So imagine that Maverick Center, but every seat, every person in the house buys a teddy bear. And every time, no matter which team it is scores, they let one row or one particular section of the facility go and throw the teddy bears right into the actual ice rink. And they have people with these push brooms that push it off to the side, and they use that as a donation type thing. And what they do with that is they go to a primary children's hospital out here, and these cancer hospitals that have little kids. They gather those things up, and then they deliver them to them, as well as any other type of things that any businesses choose to donate that day. And so our opportunity is, it actually gives the Penny Project, what we have going on, an opportunity to be highlighted at the halftime. They put it on the huge Globotron, and which gives us honestly the opportunity to gain more sponsors or people that are willing to contribute to our nonprofit. And then the return from that is we get to go with them to the hospitals and to these particular places and help deliver these gifts. You know what I'm saying? We get over 100 tickets. Well, this is 100 tickets for free. So what we basically would be doing with them is just giving them to. My preference is just to give them to families. It's like, yeah, but you could sell them. I'm like, if we got sponsors paying for them, just give them to the families. Who cares? If we can get all these families together and have them like have an opportunity to hang out with, doing something that they normally wouldn't do, or at least fall back into a habit of something they used to do or currently do. Any opportunity that they get to spend time like that, we encourage. Who cares? There's always more sponsors. There's always new opportunities to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Marcos, any last questions or anything else to kind of close it out?
Yeah. Just remind me again of the name of the organization. Is there a website as well for you guys?
It is called it's called the Penny Project SLC.
The Penny Project SLC. All right, that's right. It's like I heard it in the beginning, but then I'm like, why did my brain have a little bit of a brain?
And we're on Facebook. We're online. My wife is the one who does all of the website stuff and all of those things. It actually works out. You know, when I first started, it was just me. You know, and then when I got my wife involved, that changed the game, because it's not just working home anymore. It's work here. We got other kids, and then it's home. And so now at home, it's a different energy as far as development, which is why my daughter is doing really, really well. You know,
that's awesome.
Awesome, man. And that, I mean, near and dear to my heart. I mean, again, I know like you'd mentioned, like kind of coming from a certain, or having some sort of background and feeling some particular way, and then finding a way to like fill up your cup as you're getting a little bit older and give back, right? Like that the moments that mean the most to you are probably where you're then realizing you can make an impact there. So it's cool to see. And we'll make sure we have all the stuff linked up, to help the Penny Project SLC get some supporters, and be able to do the continue to let it prosper. I mean, 4 years in any endeavor is a long time. We're a year into this podcast thing, and it'd be great to keep it up for 4, but we know it takes an immense amount of work in a lot of ways, and constant growth, and abilities to pivot and do all these things. So glad to see you guys can keep it going, and are constantly finding new ways to get back to your community there in Salt Lake.
Yeah, before I let you guys go, I know you guys said you do a lot with health and nutrition and whatnot. I would really like to see what you guys actually have going on, because I do have some youngsters on our team that not only myself, but my youngsters that would actually deserve to hear about some of those things. I know we didn't get to touch on it that much, but I would love to hear absolutely more about it.
Yeah,
we can definitely do a little seminar for them, right, Marcos?
Get up there. Yeah, we'll get up there. Yeah, we'll maybe pick out a date that can work and do something collaborative. And we've been blessed with getting some donations here, in the last couple months that we'd love to be able to put that money to work, you know what I mean, and give back to communities of kids. And that's what's planned. That we basically, to give you the rundown though, we come in, we have a nutrition seminar talk, we discuss like basics and fundamentals of nutrition and things that everybody can focus on, that doesn't, that just takes a little bit of time to play with these fundamental principles. We find and try to partner with a local like meal prep place that's probably in Salt Lake City, so kids can learn, hey, you can still buy healthy food from places. It just takes maybe a little bit of work, right? Instead of just going to McDonald's, right, or whatever else that might be, that's quick,
Or
easy, and
Takis
convenient.
and hot Cheetos, right?
Right. Yes.
Talkies,
Yes.
man.
The time, yeah. Well, and that's where we let them know, hey, like you're gonna go buy this, this, and this, right? This is $10. You go and order like an actual meal from this place, like your body, your mind, is going to be able to function better, And I mean, obviously, it's easier as the kids get a little older and they can actually, drive, or, they pick the places they're going to. But it all starts with awareness and understanding, right? Like, I mean, even if they just start looking at the nutrition label of Takis and they're just being like, yo, this has like 50 ingredients in it, like, and most of them I don't even know how to pronounce. It's probably something I should maybe reconsider as part of like my daily consumption, right? And then, that's where, again, that building partnerships with other people, like other people's ties in their communities, is super important. So you have your group of kids, you have a meal prep company that's a small business, right? If a small business and a nonprofit get together and they're constantly finding ways to help you guys and your mission and feeding the kids high quality foods, that's what I've been trying to piggyback off here in our local Vegas community, is our meal prep companies that are small businesses, and finding ways to show their worth to other, like they're not their normal target demographic. Because a lot of people they think it's all health and fitness. It's like, oh, I'm not on a diet or a health kick. It's like, no, but maybe you should consider what you're putting in to fuel your body, right? So that's part of our mission for sure. But yeah, well, we can talk more and find a way to maybe coordinate that, and find something in the early part of next year. We would love the opportunity to, even if a small group of, I don't know how many youngsters you say you have, like, I mean, even 10's worth it
About
to us.
15 to
10, if you,
20 on a regular basis.
that'd be perfect.
Perfect.
That's like the ideal size, honestly.
Did you would love it, bro?
Yeah.
We really got it sold up pretty good. I would love to be
Yeah.
like, told you guys, told you, man. Especially
Yeah.
because like a lot of
Well,
our guys play sports and stuff, so, or some of our guys.
There you go. There you
that's
go.
it. That's what we want to be able to. That was the moment. I mean, I had this moment where Jay Cutler, like bodybuilder, Mr. Olympia, Jay Cutler, came in and gave a nutrition
He's
seminar,
dope.
talked about it right? Like, so he came in and did that. And years later, I realized, like, I still remember that. Like, I still remember that moment. And it's like, hey, like, of course, I'm not a public figure like that, but like to go in and be like, who is this guy? These guys look like they're in shape and know what they're talking about with sports. And they came and just, gave us, like, they fed us. They had this moment. It was cool. We went and played sports with it. Like, something like even more engaging than that is something that we're really after, and,
Yeah.
hell, next thing you know, those kids could then be a collegiate athlete, could be a pro. You don't know, set them up with the right tools, let them ride with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
My boy Christy
Awesome.
Herrera, I think he's got like 5 or 6 trophies for bodybuilding out here. It's huge. I'll put him next
Yeah.
to Jay Cutter, and he probably might not be as big as him, but a smaller size, he looks exactly like him. I swear.
I
Swear.
love it. Oh man, I gotta see it.
Yeah.
I'll tag you. I'll
But
tag you with
awesome.
some stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chris, we appreciate your time, man, and glad we can, kind of, get the chat, talk about things that you're excited about, and bring more awareness to what you're trying to do within your community with your group of people. And then yeah, we'll look to coordinate getting something out there, depending on your guys' schedule, availability, and whatnot. This would mean a lot to us, and hopefully mean a lot to your youngsters. So Seamus, go ahead and roll us on out of here, last little bits.
All right, guys. Well, you guys heard it. Christopher, he's in. We'll get the show notes and details, but the message is great, man. Nonprofit with kids, and you know, helping the leaders of tomorrow, giving them the tools that they need. And I think it's our responsibility to do so. This podcast can't exist without support, and the nonprofit can't exist without support. So if you guys can support him, that'd be great. If you're in the Salt Lake City area, if you know someone, do me a favor, share it with the Salt Lake people in your population, in your community, and who knows what you can do. It could be like a wildfire. Anyways, guys, we'll end it here. Give us a like and share if you guys want to help out Christopher. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Bye.